There is no hotter team in baseball than the Houston Astros. After a slow start to the 2015 season, A.J. Hinch and company have them alive. Mix of youth and veterans have them rolling. Their 25-13 record is best in the American League. The A's, on the other hand, have had a frustrating start to their season. 13 wins are not what anybody expected, but the season is still in its early stages, and there is no better way to get out of a funk than to face the best in the West. A's Astros, Game 1, coming up next. The A's make their second trip to Houston this year. It's the start of a 7-game road trip. We will go from Houston on to St. Petersburg, and that's the starting pitcher tonight for the Astros, Lance McCullers Jr. He will be opposed by A's left-hander Drew Pomeranz. A's need to get something going. It's the first of a 3-game set from Minute Maid Park. It's the Oakland A's and the Houston Astros coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, California. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. A major league debut tonight for Lance McCullers Jr. Ray, he's one of the Astros' biggest and brightest prospects. They're very excited to see him pitch, and he's only 21 years old.
And if you can skip AAA, come straight to the big leagues from AA, that means you're pretty good. His father was a major league pitcher. You see his numbers at AA. He has a good fastball. They say he can be a little bit wild, but when you throw 96 with a fastball, maybe some hitters will be swinging the pitches out of the strike zone. But he has the assortment of pitches. I just think from the A's standpoint, the scouting reports they have on him, just try to see him for the first time and try to do something to him to start this road trip.
Drew Pomeranz won his last start against the Boston Red Sox at home, and maybe that's something to build on, Ray, because before that start, he had been going through a little bit of a tough stretch.
7 innings against the Seattle Mariners to start the season, 7 innings in his last start against the Boston Red Sox. In between, including a couple of starts against the Astros, he was not very good. Against the Red Sox, a great fastball. He elevated as he did there inside. Good curveball to Big Papi, striking him out. He has to throw the curveball hard. That was working. The BP fastball was working, and the good fastball when he elevated it. So all the things were working well for him. He just needs to pitch well tonight.
A's have lost 4 in a row. The Astros have won 5 in a row. Something's got to give tonight in the first of this 3-game series. Up next, we'll head back inside the A's pregame live studios for an update, and then we'll come back to Minute Maid Park in Houston for lineups and first pitch.
is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. By Toyota, #1 in MPG, durability, and resale value. Toyota, let's go places. And by DraftKings.com. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily fantasy partner of Major League Baseball. Enter promo code SLIDER for free entry.
Some A's fans have made the trip to Houston, or maybe they're just A's fans who live in the area. But we are at Minute Maid Park in downtown Houston. The roof is closed. It's been kind of a wet day in Houston. Hot, muggy, and wet. It rained last night. Let's check the game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. Get to the beach. The admission-free boardwalk is open daily starting Friday, May 22nd. 82 degrees, light breeze, and as I said, lots of humidity, and the roof is closed. In fact, it's supposed to maybe rain a little bit tomorrow as well, but not an issue here with the dome.
And I think for this road trip, 7 games probably will all be played indoors for the Athletics, and 3 here in Houston where the roof is retractable. They go down to St. Petersburg where the A's will play the Tampa Bay Rays. That roof is permanently closed, so we know it's 4 games indoors starting Thursday. Both cities very hot and humid, and I think very fortunate for both clubs and for the Athletics coming from a nice cool Bay Area. Coming to humidity, be able to be at a controlled temperature indoors.
Let's look at the lineup tonight for the Oakland A's. It starts with Coco Chris back in the leadoff spot. Then Simeon hits second, Reddick third. Butler will DH. Vogt in the 5th spot. Next, Muncy's going to get the start at first base. Then Laurie at third, Fold in center, and Sogard is at second.
Well, Lance McCullers Jr. is on the mound for the Astros, and a very good and important night for this young man. And if he's hyped up, he should be. It's his major league debut. He's on the mound starting for Houston. See the numbers in Double-A. He skipped Triple-A straight from Corpus Christi straight to the big leagues. Good fastball, topped out about 96, 97 miles per hour. And with the adrenaline, maybe 107. Just a question if he can control it for strikes, but it's always nice to see the debut, as I'm sure his family, his father, former major league player, his mother, fiance, everybody's in the house tonight to watch this young man make his debut.
Let's check out the defense behind Lance McCullers. Preston Tucker just called up. He's in left field. Marisnik in center, Springer in right. VR, Gonzalez, Altuve, and Carter around the infield. Jason Castro is your catcher. So McCullers finishing up the warm-up tosses. Should be a decent crowd tonight. And these Astros fans are excited to see one of their top prospects make his major league debut. Bob Melvin says, I don't care about Lance McCullers. I just need a win.
That's right.
The A's have lost 4 in a row. They've lost 10 out of their last 11. And the A's bring a 13-26 record into this ball game. So we're set for baseball.
I think the skipper would like to have something positively to talk about post-game. You know, he does the pre-game presser with the media and does his manager show, and then he has to meet with the media following the game. Does a great job, but you need some positive things for him to talk about.
So Lance McCullers' first big league pitch is a fastball 94 miles an hour right there, a strike to Coco Chris. So we're underway from Houston. Game 1 of a 3-game series, and then it will be on to St. Petersburg for a 4-game series against the Rays Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But before that, 3 here in Houston. Another fastball, another strike, 95 miles an hour. So quick 0-2 umpires tonight. Tall Jordan Baker is behind home plate, then Fletcher, Meals, and Paul Emmel. And that is Jerry Meals at second base. He's the crew chief. 0-2 pitch. A little movement on that one, and Coco was able to hold up.
Yeah, that's part of the fastball that he throws. A 2-seam fastball is Coco. Got a couple of 4-seamers, and then this 2-seamer was down a little bit. Young man can throw hard, and Jason Castro, his catcher, the veteran behind him, should be helping him.
Tap toward Carter. McCullers over there, steps on the bag, just about a step in front of Coco Crisp, and that's the first out of the ball game. So with 1 out, Marcus Simeon will hit.
Got off the mound very quickly. Of course, anytime a ball is hit the right side, automatically pitcher covers. He does that nicely as Carter able to feed to him. And what we're seeing in the game today with the authentication of items, as soon as he made his first major league pitch, it was a strike. Jason Castro threw the ball to the side. It would be authenticated and in his trophy case.
Yes, indeed. Marcus Semien, 314 the average. 6 home runs, 15 RBIs, and he jumps ahead in the count 2-0 to Semien. Reddick to follow here in the first. To a pitch. Fastball. Semien fouls it back. Semien has had good success against the Astros this year. He's 6 for 24 with a couple of home runs against Houston.
Well, that one he hit at the Coliseum, that was against Pat Neshek. That
right.
Game in which the A's scored 2 to tie the 10th. Unfortunately, the Astros scored the 3 in the 11th. Semien hit the 2-run home run. The A's had the tying run on base, could not get him in.
And that's the first breaking ball we've seen from the Colors, and it was a good one, just a little bit outside. So 3-2.
Well, this is where you can set dead red. They call it the dead red fastball. And I think that's what he's going to get.
And it's just a bit outside, and it's a 1-out walk. So the minor league numbers for Lance McCullers Jr. He was the 41st pick in the 2012 draft. So just a little bit of work his first year in the minor leagues. 2013 single A, 2014 single A in the California League, and then this year double A. He was terrific, and in fact he actually was called up to triple A, and he was going to pitch in triple A for a while in Fresno, but Brett Oberholzer, the left-hander, got a blister. They put Oberholzer on the disabled list and decided to bring McCullers up to the big leagues. He actually went to Fresno and threw a bullpen. He was with Fresno for a couple days, and then he got the call. 6'1", 210 pounds. He's just 21 years old.
Well, the key and exactly what Reddick is doing. Saw Semien be a little patient. First pitches from the right-hander were strikes to Coco. And the key, you try to figure out what he's doing and say it often. You watch all the video that Adam Roden puts together. Bottom line, you have to see him firsthand, and that's what this team is trying to do. Reddick taking a couple of pretty good sinkers from him as they continue to play him to pull.
There's a fastball, 95 on the inside corner, 2-1. 328 the average for Reddick, 6 homers and 28 RBIs. Hits this one high and foul down the left field line. Well back into the seats. A's are 8-12 on the road. This is game number 40 on the season, so right around the quarter point to this 2015 season. The A's hoping that the second quarter will be better than the first.
A shiny quarter.
Bounced right to Gonzalez. Throw to first is wide, so they get the lead out. Gonzalez playing that shift, so he was right near second base.
He might have been better suited to tag the bag, push off of the bag, throw to first instead of going across the bag. There's the shift, and right to the second baseman, actually the shortstop, but say went across the bag, and unfortunately for him, not able to get as much on the throw. Stop right there, and then throw right over the top. Maybe have a chance, but Reddick hustling down the line forced that issue and able to keep the inning going.
I would say that's a double play that should be turned.
Exactly. I agree. He tried to make it too difficult instead of simplifying it, but A's catch a break and maybe could take advantage of it.
Billy Butler takes a strike. 268, 4 home runs, 21 RBIs for Butler. He was 5 for 13 in that series over the weekend against the White Sox with a home run and 4 RBIs. So Butler's starting to swing the bat better again.
And Camp, as you saw the weekend, a lot of those hits like the home run, right field, right center. And that means you stand on the ball a lot better. He was still talking today about the ball Jose Abreu did a face plant into the dirt at first base. He couldn't believe he caught it. But he did. Robbed him of a base hit, an RBI.
Good breaking ball there for a strike. So, Ray, will you see A's hitters take more pitches early just to get an idea what the young man's throwing?
I think they want to see his release point and see what kind of movement his pitches have, and especially the two-seamer.
There's a high fastball at 95.
This is called a power arm.
Yes, it is.
You throw that hard and elevate it, and A.J. Hinch, as a former catcher himself, knows that it takes really a veteran catcher, and he's got one behind the plate, and Jason Castro handling this young man in his first start.
Curveball tapped foul.
Scott Feldman threw a curveball to Billy Butler, and look what he did to it. Roof was open in that opening series, and he knew it was gone. Completely left the yard, way over. And he said he'd been looking curveball, thought Feldman would throw it. He did. And that's when things were going great for the A's. That April the 13th, when Billy Butler crushed the ball over the left field. Train didn't move either.
Good breaking ball. Butler strikes out, so that's the first major league strikeout for Lance McCullers. So the A's get a runner. Nothing else in the first. Bottom of the first coming up. Their lineup. The always tough Jose Altuve to lead it off. VR will hit second and play third base. Springer's at right. Gaddis the DH. Preston Tucker, our first look at the left fielder. He's a left-handed hitter. Chris Carter hits sixth. Marwin Gonzalez, he's a switch hitter. He'll play short. And then it's Castro and Marisnik at 8 and 9.
And Drew Pomeranz coming off the 7-inning performance against the Red Sox, as we showed in our open. 7 innings also against the Seattle Mariners, but in between Houston here, he went 5+ innings, 4 runs, and at the Coliseum against the Astros, 5 innings, 3 earned runs, a couple of home runs. A guy named Jed Lowry, who's still on the disabled list. He won't be playing. Good home run off of Pomeranz, but good fastball, just needs to use it consecutively.
Crisp, Fold, and Reddick in the outfield for the A's. Laurie, Simeon, Sogard, and Muncy on the infield, with Stephen Vogt doing the catching. So Jose Altuve steps in. And a first pitch breaking ball, and it's in there for a strike to Altuve. 323 with 5 home runs and 24 RBIs.
Cub, I think that first pitch says a lot about the thought process with Altuve. He is not your prototypical leadoff hitter, as we have seen with Billy Burns when he leads off. Swings a lot of first pitch fastballs.
Oh. And Altuve got hit, and it got him good.
Well, that's a good way to extend and throw the fastball a little bit too far, though, that he overthrew it and got him in the left hip. As he's taking a little while going to first base. venture to say, though, it's not going to affect his base running.
No, he may go just because he's ticked off.
Yeah. But it got him solidly in the left hip, and you hear the thud. But he's the guy you want to keep off the bases, and unfortunately, he is there to start the game.
And he runs on the first pitch, throw to second base, not in time. So Altuve gets stolen base number 14, and he was not waiting around.
And you know, it's almost as if Drew Pomeranz, who he hardly looked at him and threw to the plate, and Altuve probably anticipating that because he got hit as hard as he did, they were not going to pay attention to him. They did not. And Stephen Vogt did not have a chance to throw him out. Now you better be careful stealing third.
56 stolen bases last year. And bunted. And it gets the runner to third. So Laurie to Muncy, but a sacrifice bunt for Jonathan Villar. So stolen base, sacrifice, and the Astros have a runner at third with one out.
Trying to get the chance for Springer, who will be hitting probably, although the infield's going to come in. And again, Bob Melvin trying to pull the right strings and hoping for a ground ball or even better, a strikeout with the aggressive Springer at the plate. He will not get cheated.
First pitch to Springer, and he did not get cheated. And that's really kind of fun to watch swing, because it is just let it rip. And I'm going to pull off every once in a while, but
that was strike one. Where do you see strike 2 and 3? Same pitch he swung at this time did not swing. And elevated fastballs, you're not going to get a lot of ground balls with that elevated fastball, which is pretty good velocity. And so maybe Pomeranz trying to get the strikeout and deal with it. Very tough Evan Gattis in the on-deck circle.
And Springer chased a high fastball up and away. So now it's 1-2.
And really, that's the kind of pitches you want to throw to him. If you can elevate it that much, it looks like it's 120 miles per hour from the hitter standpoint. It always looks so good to hit, but very difficult for you to catch up to it. It's fastball inside, elevate it again. That's what they're going to try to do.
And a good pitch, a little inside, 2-2.
What catchers do, nobody on second base. See Stephen Vogt take the index finger, point inside, which doesn't have to do anything to give location, touch the inner thigh or anything, just another fastball inside. So it kind of pointed that direction for the heater.
And missed down and away. So 3-2. On deck is Evan Gattis,
the lumberjack. Gosh, he's strong.
inside again, and it's not close. He missed outside, so he missed the target by a lot.
And that's the reason Stephen Vogt wanted the fastball inside to force him to finish the pitches inside. And unfortunately, when he left it outside, that means that he tried to guide it a little bit instead of airing it out like he did the first couple of swings. Now, again, the big lumberjack, if you get him to hit the ball on the ground and that man doesn't try to steal, then you have a chance maybe for a double play. But Gattis is a very, very strong young man, and he usually is a fly ball hitter.
And Springer is indeed a base stealer. He's got 10.
Well, they will not hurt. I mean, you look at the game in Oakland that Sunday afternoon when the A's had the one-run lead. Marisnick got the base hit and run by Altuve, then a double steal. I mean, they don't wait around, and they're playing aggressive style baseball.
First pitch to Gattis is a strike. Astros they're a very kind of a strange offensive ball club statistically. They're last in batting average. They're 7th in runs scored, so they're right in the middle in total runs scored. They're first in home runs, first in stolen bases, and they have the most strikeouts.
Yep.
So they're a little all over the board, but they're doing enough. This one's hit high in the air. Reddick in. Altuve tagging. We're going to have some action at home plate. Here comes Altuve, and the throw is up the line. Altuve scores. Springer hustling back to first, and he beats Muncy back to the bag. So when it's all said and done, it's a sacrifice fly for Gaddis, and the Astros have a 1-0 lead. Reddick, the throw unfortunately was up the line. Good throw, and he's got a shot at Altuve.
And Josh usually is a little bit more accurate with the throw, but as far as it was up the line, that's why it was cut off. Unfortunately, there's nobody at first base for Muncy to throw to, so he had to hurry to go back and try to get him himself. Yeah, this was right there cheering him on. Keep back. Run was going to score regardless, even if the out had been recorded at first, but at least the A's would have been out of the inning.
So for Gaddis, his 21st RBI. And this is Preston Tucker. Tucker was brought up about 8 days ago from the minor leagues, and he's getting a chance to play. Talking to some of the Astros people, he's kind of flown under the radar in the minor leagues only because the Astros have some big prospects, and but he's done a nice job, and he may get a chance to play some. Left-handed hitter, obviously. Preston Tucker.
Tucker was in Anaheim watching a game when they were playing the Angels, and his father was there. It might have been his first game, but came up with a huge hit to drive in the go-ahead run for the Astros against the Angels. Speaking of the Angels, they lost to the Blue Jays this afternoon. Canada Day, I think it was. They played a day game in Toronto today.
That's right. Victoria Day.
Victoria Day, thank you.
In fact, I was curious, what's Victoria Day in Canada? And it's a national holiday honoring Queen Victoria, and it also marks the beginning of summer, according to the good people of Canada.
They had the roof open at.
If you're celebrating the first day of summer, you've got to have the roof open.
Right.
No matter how cold it is.
You better, exactly. But Josh Donaldson was playing, and Josh Donaldson was Josh Donaldson. And some activity going on with the former A's third baseman, but he's having a good season with the Blue Jays.
It was a 10-6 final. The Blue Jays won that game. Josh Donaldson got into it with the Angels dugout a little bit, from one dugout to the other.
Gee, they were saying he swung hard. Oh, really?
Well, he's not allowed to swing hard.
Who doesn't, though? I mean, especially with that ball club, with Bautista and Encarnacion.
Up the middle, right over the bag. Simeon steps on the bag, side retired. So a run without a hit for the Astros. So 1-0 Houston after one. Hit by a pitch, stolen base, a sacrifice, and a sacrifice fly. And that's how the Astros got their run. So here come the A's in the second inning. Vogt, Muncy, and Laurie against Lance McCullers Jr. Had a walk and a strikeout in the first inning, making his major league debut. So if he was at all nervous, it's probably gone by now.
Unless his club said, okay, there's your one run, go get him.
Big numbers for Vogt, 327, 9 homers, 30 RBIs, tied for the American League lead in RBIs with Nelson Cruz.
Well, I heard a referee's whistle, and I heard somebody said, I believe in Stephen Vogt. So all the way to Houston, somebody has either been chanting that here, or came from Oakland, or living in Houston and decided they want to bring it here.
So 1-2 to Vogt.
You see that shift. This Astros club will shift as much as anybody.
And fastball running in, and Vogt swings and misses. Tried to hold up, but could not do it. So here's Muncy, and that gets us to our Ford right choice. Yesterday, Muncy, his first big league home run, came off Jeff Samardzija in the 4th inning. And at that point, it gave the A's the lead. And check out the silent treatment. This is a major blow-off, and then he was made to feel well. So back to Muncy.
Cap, he was just talking a couple of days before that about how cool at nighttime the balls that doesn't carry. And I said today, difference of night and day, and he said yes. He said if that would have happened at nighttime, it might not have made the warning track.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah.
Would have been caught probably.
But he's going to get some extended playing time with Ike Davis on the disabled list, and hope Ike gets well quick. Quad injury that has put him on the disabled list.
Sounds like Bob Melvin is going to play Canna and Muncy.
Yeah.
Both getting at bats at first base.
2 rookies, Rule 5 and a A's draftee a couple of years ago. So good experience for the youngsters to get a chance to play. Once he showed his versatility during spring training, it's paid off for he and the Athletics so far in this young season, especially for him. Third base for Bob Melvin, first base, played some outfield.
So 2-2 to Muncy. Overall 5 hits and 22 at bats. He drives this one toward left center, hit pretty well into the gap, and it's off the wall. Marisnick has some trouble picking it up. Muncy to second, and he's got a double.
I think that says a lot about this young man and his ability to wait, and still when the ball goes off his bat, it jumps. That's kind of a one-handed swing to left center as he went outside on a fastball and drove it to left center and spread in the gap and off the wall, and that's where Marisnick had a little difficult time. It's going to be a double anyway. The ball he pulled in right center yesterday, and then the next one he hit, thought he hit it better, but he said the cut fastball got in on his hands just a little bit too much and could not drive it as deep. But he's got some very good power gap to gap.
First pitch to Laurie is a fastball first strike. Laurie was 2 for 11 in the series against the White Sox, struggling a little bit. 6 hits in his last 34 at bats, and those numbers right on the heels of that 11-game hitting streak he had. So 1-1 the count. Altuve trying to keep Muncy close. Breaking ball snaps in there for a strike.
I'm thinking about the adrenaline for this young man, Lance McCullers Jr. Just watching him and as he breathes very, very hard. His curveball hung a little bit. Look at him.
So maybe he's a little nervous.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can see some guys that look like they want to take a nap. But for McCullers, heart is beating, and of course, making your debut, you want to do well, especially your first start from your family, and another very good breaking ball out of the strike zone, but enough to tempt Brett Laurie, who's always aggressive, and too much off the plate for him.
Well, McCullers, it doesn't bother him. He's got 3 strikeouts now.
A lot of times you'll see that if a pitcher has to cover first, and that's why catchers should always go out and give him a chance to catch his breath. But you try to keep that heart from pumping through your chest, and it's like he's got it pumping well, especially down with the runner in scoring position where the A's get a hit. Sam Fuld would love a hit to drive in a run.
Sam hitting right at 200, 5 RBIs. Got 5 doubles and 3 triples. Has not been playing a lot lately, just due to the struggles he's been having. But Bob Melvin said, you can't forget about Sam Fuld. He was very good early on, and he really wanted to get him back in there, see if he can get him going. Gentry back in the big leagues. Billy Burns has been doing a nice job. As it shows you how, as a manager, you really have to keep all your players in mind, even though one guy may be swinging the bat better than another guy.
Well, the one thing Bob Melvin has done in the time he's been here, and guys know that it's a 25-man roster and a chance for all 25 at any time to get in a ball game, and always be prepared.
Just a bit outside, so now 3-1 to Fuld. Muncy at second with 2 outs.
As shallow as Tucker's playing on left field with the Crawford box is not a bad idea. As Sogard waits, but for Sam Fuld, see where the left fielder Tucker's playing. I mean, really, you think about the short left field wall, you play shallow, try to take any opportunity away for a runner from score from second base.
Fuld got a pitch to hit, rolls it foul.
Also gives Sam Fuld, a lefty, a chance to hit the ball over his head in left field because he is playing shallow.
There's the Crawford boxes. That left field wall out there is 19 feet high. So unable to get together, the pitcher and catcher will talk it over.
Interesting thing here, Lance McCullers is doing all the talking. The veteran Jason Castro, and they're trying to learn each other. But I'd say Castro's got a pretty good idea in just seeing the few pitches that McCullers has thrown already as to how to call a pitch and try to get him out. He's already given the pitch. Didn't even give a sign. Well, at least they talked about it, Cap. We've seen where catcher's gone out, talked to pitchers, come back, give it a sign, and shakes him off. What'd you just talk about?
Which is another thing that should never happen.
Exactly.
Three-two pitch, a breaking ball, and it wasn't close. Fuld takes it, and he's got a walk.
And with his good fastball, kind of makes you believe that he didn't want to challenge him on 3-2, want to try to fool him, and that's the difficulty of throwing anything other than a fastball, a better controlled fastball pitch instead of a breaking ball, because if you don't throw for a strike, you might fool a hitter enough that he won't swing, and it's not a strike.
There's Brent Strum, the pitching coach for the Astros, watching the 21-year-old rookie closely. Here's Sogard. First pitch, fastball up and away. He's trying to tie it here in the second. Sogard coming in at 262. And he gets the low strike call.
That's a pitch that you swing, you beat it in the ground. So while there was a strike called by Jordan Baker, the 6'7" umpire, lower part of the strike zone, but you recognize the good sinker and realize that you can't do much to it.
At 89 miles an hour, so he took a little off. So a lot of pitches, 43 pitches so far for McCullers. And another low strike call. Sogard, can't imagine he's in total agreement with that. Both strikes called have been maybe a little low.
Well, the target way outside, and Castro reaching back to his right, and the reaching back kept the ball really in the strike zone, which is okay, but probably just a little bit low.
Rolled foul. Ty Waller knocks it down. Muncy at second, Fold at first. So McCullers, the shake off.
Same pitch.
Yep.
Same. Might be probably better. Okay? Probably better in a sense that Sam slapped the ball in a glove because he'd been given 2, but he wanted strike 3. Look at the location of this. Height wise, it's there. Castro reached back, but where it crossed the plate, where he caught it, probably he pushed him off the plate, but that looked like a pretty good one. So see the disgust of the pitcher after that one.
Runners go, and the ball's hit hard into right field. A base hit. Muncy comes in to score, and Sogard gets the call on the close pitch. And then Sogard, next pitch, wraps an RBI single, and it's a 1-1 game.
You know, the last thing a pitcher should do anytime, much less making a debut, and that, of course, a fastball down the middle. So while he threw the 3-2 curveball to Sam Fold, maybe did not want to challenge him, he does to Sogard on the 3-2, and so he comes through with a base hit, and really a fastball that was elevated a little bit more and down the middle. But when McCullers missed or didn't get the call, and he slapped the ball in his glove, it's not good for umpires. Don't like that. You know, and especially for any pitcher, but especially the guy making his first start.
Yep.
And umpires see those things, and it's just, you know, you just want to be as calm as you can on the mound.
First pitch to Coco Crisp is a strike. Coco didn't like the call. So nobody's happy with Jordan Baker right now.
Well, Sogard is, because he got a chance to go to 3-2, but whether off the plate or a little bit high, Coco probably in the on-deck circle seeing the couple of low strikes called, and now the elevated called strike.
Hit down the left field line, but it'll be in the seats. And now Coco behind in the count 0-2. Things have tied it here in the second inning.
Cat, remember the May 2nd game in Arlington, Texas, where the big Jordan Baker was behind the plate.
Yeah.
Fegley was catching. Remember, he was all over him, leaning, holding him up. He's not doing it tonight. So I don't know if somebody said something, but it looks like he's more just in a crouch position and not putting his hand on the catcher to balance himself. Watch Jordan Baker, the umpire, as he goes down to the squat position a little bit lower. He might have balanced himself just momentarily with his left hand on Castro's shoulder, but then as he removed it, so maybe some catchers said, hey, get your hands off.
Yeah, well, you would think that the catchers would say that.
Fegley hated it. I mean, he did not like having that hand on him the whole night. And in that game, Jordan Baker actually had the left hand on him like he did there, but then takes it off as he gets down to the position. So it's almost like he's using the left hand to balance himself, and then when he gets the lead bit, Fegley said that was the worst feeling in the world, to every pitch know that here's the hand on my shoulder.
1-2 to Coco. Pitch number 52 coming up, and it's a bit high. That was pitch number 32 in this inning.
Yeah.
Outfield shifted toward left center and shallow. Missed again badly, and now it's 3-2. McCullers. Looks like Castro's going to try to calm the youngster down a little bit.
You know, as much as his fastball is moving, and maybe Castro can see that, but it's actually moving out of the strike zone. It's moving so much. Now, if you know it's going to move that much as a catcher, you can set up in the middle of the plate and take it and keep it in the strike zone. But then all of a sudden you get a four-seam fastball that's straight, like Sogard got 3-2. That's the difference. Fastball here.
Sogard runs, and the pitch is way inside, and the bases are loaded.
But he overthrew that fastball and almost got past Castro.
Brentstrom is going to talk to the youngster. He's walked 2 and given up 2 hits in this inning.
And when you start a batter 0-2, first and third with a tie game, and then end up walking him, that's something that a pitching coach, Brent Strom, good left-handed pitcher in his day, trying to calm the youngster down. Said, I remember when I made my debut,
Sure.
young man. I was nervous like you. I could see your chest pumping out like that. Just calm down a little bit, big guy. Strom probably left as like McCullers might say something about that call that didn't come his way, and
Sure, wait for him.
Yeah, pitching coach says, okay. Now, so he missed a call. You got to bounce back anyway. Cap, it's almost like maybe a call is missed. It's almost like an error is made behind a pitcher. You've got to take care of it yourself.
You talked about that the other night.
Exactly.
On the A team.
Yeah.
It's like errors are one thing, but what happens right after the error is maybe even more important.
Exactly.
First pitch to Simeon is a ball, and I think the Astros thought maybe that was a strike, and Castro's now talking to Jordan Baker. Simeon walked in the first inning. Up the middle, Altuve scoops it. He'll throw to first, and they just get Simeon side retired. So when the long inning is over, the A's get 1 run, and they leave them loaded. So 1-1 game as we go to the bottom of the 7th. To do with the Astros. Last postseason appearance was the World Series in 2005. Went through a tough stretch from 06 to 2014. This year, it's about home runs and stealing bags. Bullpen's a lot better. Signed a couple of veterans. And as of right now, they have the best record in the American League. And a 5.5 game lead in the AL West. So the Astros, to their credit, they have been one of the best stories in baseball through the first 6-7 weeks of this season. Through 38 games last year, they had 12 wins. I mean, it's an organization that lost 100 games in 2011, 2012, and then in 2013 they lost 111 games. But better last year. Finished 70 and 92, so they had a 19-game improvement.
And really, they're
13 to 14.
They're ahead of their schedule. They didn't even plan to be anywhere close to where they are right now in this 2015 season. It was still going to be a building season. They did pick up some additions in the offseason, some key players. Saw Evan Gattis there, traded for him, and the pitchers that you mentioned in that soundbite. But they were kind of building maybe for 16, 17.
3-1 to Carter. Carter hits a high pop-up foul territory right near the Astros dugout. Vogt grabs it. So Carter is retired. One away here in the bottom of the second.
Now, normally a fly ball like that, the catcher looks for help. Muncy was saying, "Come on, Vogt. You can do it. You can do it." I mean, he was playing deep at first base, but that was a Stephen Vogt getting to the ball himself.
Shutdown inning opportunity for Pomeranz.
It's a good comeback after going to 3-0. Chris Carter, that means you're going to throw him fastballs, which means you can do some damage with the fastball.
Now here's Marwin Gonzalez. But you know, Ray, talking about the Astros' success this year and the additions they made. The additions they made are not necessarily young players.
Right.
They're not players called up from the minor leagues. They're kind of players in the middle of their careers. Carter has been here, but you know, Evan Gattis and Lowry and Gregerson and Neshek. I mean, they've all done a nice job. But we're not talking about the Astros' hot prospects who have been called up and they're doing great. I mean, there's almost like there's going to be the next wave of players to come to the Astros, and they are going to be those prospects.
The one thing that did to the players they brought in is this curveball. Same pitch, really, that Gonzalez hit against Pomeranz. He's already hit a home run on the curveball this season, and he's complaining about that one. But those players that you mentioned were giving multi-year deals too. So at least they want help, and maybe they help bring the young players along, because they have a nice mixture of young players and the veterans you mentioned.
It's almost like the Astros wanted some players to just kind of maybe bridge the gap for a year or two till the prospects get here, and they have some. I mean, Springer's one of their top prospects, but you know, Colby Rasmus, a one-year deal. So it's an interesting mix right now, and the Astros have to be thrilled that they're playing so well, knowing that there's going to come a time real soon where they are going to start getting some help from the minor league system. Swing and a miss. Good breaking ball there. Sharp break to it. So that's the first strikeout for Drew Pomeranz.
Well, they came back with another curveball, the one that Gonzalez did not like to call the first time. A little bit better as far as middle of the plate with its curve, but nice hard bite to it, and that's something the Pomeranz did against the Red Sox that helped him be successful against the team. He did not throw the slower tag. One of the things that a team wants to do is be successful. If you are successful, it means you draft lower because you had success, because it goes in reverse order. But in the case of the Astros, they've had bad records. They've drafted at the top. They've drafted good players. And you really look at the Tampa Bay Rays. They're in that category as well, because they were horrible, had some top draft picks. They started playing well. They went to the World Series in 08. And the Astros kind of that same. You have to draft well if you get the top picks. In the case of last year, they didn't sign him, but it turned out had an arm problem anyway.
Yeah, that was a little strange. But, I mean, 2011, George Springer's their first-round draft pick. He's here. Right. 2012, Carlos Correa, who everybody says is going to be a star. Sure. He's in AAA. He's a shortstop.
That's right.
He's going to be here at some point fairly soon.
Even to the point that when he gets here, Brett Lowry's going to have to change positions because he's signed for 3 years. Lowry has, and Lowry.
I'm the one who usually gets it confused, Ray, not you.
He's not even playing.
That's my
Brett
problem.
Lowry is playing. Tuesday home games this season. All fans park for free at these games. 500 tickets in the Plaza Reserve section are available for each Chevy free parking Tuesday for just $5. Purchase online at athletics.com/Tuesday and use promo code Chevy while supplies last.
1-1 game, top of the third here at Minute Maid Park in Houston. See how the youngster Lance McCullers bounces back from a 35-pitch second inning. He walked a couple, gave up a couple of hits, struck out a couple, and the A's were able to tie it up. He'll face Reddick, Butler, and Vogt. Reddick reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. There's a line drive right into the glove of Altuve, and that's out number 1. So lots of friends and family in the house for Lance McCullers Jr., including his dad. That's Lance McCullers right there, and he's the father, and he was a big league pitcher. And in fact, he was a pretty good reliever with the San Diego Padres in the 80s. So he's a interested onlooker, Lance McCullers. In fact, it's interesting, Ray. I was reading about his dad today. His dad was the McCullers grabs it, nice play there, flips to first. His dad was the 41st pick in the 1982 draft. His son was the 41st pick in the 2012
How about
draft.
that?
And they were both 21 years old when they made their major league debut. So father watching son, and he's watching close. And he's probably a little nervous as well. So.
Hey, when the general manager walks down to say hello to you, Jeff Luhnow, so that makes it pretty special. Walks down in his tailor-made suit, Mr. Luhnow, the general manager, and talking with Lance, and gave a big handshake and said, "See you later. Back up to my suite." That's right. You stay down here. I'm going to my suite.
Lance Sr. was drafted by the Phillies and then traded to the Padres, and that's where he had some good years for San Diego.
But he was the reliever for his group.
He was
right?
a reliever, yeah.
Whereas his son, so when his son starts to hear from his dad, and he can say, "Dad, what do you know about starting?" You know? But it's got the genes, and I'm sure that is very helpful for this young man. And, you know, A.J. Hinch, the manager, was talking about it, and that is that kids around the clubhouse, when their fathers are playing, they have a tendency to be in the clubhouse. Ken Griffey Jr., of course, one of the greatest about him was his dad, Cincinnati, big red machine, and here's young Ken Griffey Jr. running around, doing everything, playing games, and he's going to Hall of Fame next year. Yep. So, I mean, that's how quickly it can happen. It takes that added pressure off when you walk in the clubhouse, because you say, "Well, I've already been here. It's no big deal." It is a big deal, though, because it's played much differently at this level.
2-2 pitch to Vogt, just a bit outside. And Castro didn't like that one. So Jordan Baker he's unpopular tonight.
Backdoor curveball, according to Baker. He thought it came around the plate.
I like Dad. Dad kept it together. So Vogt grounds out, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Lance McCullers Jr. So we are headed to the bottom of the third. It's a 1-1 game.
everyone in your group will receive an A's replica batting practice pullover. For more information on available games or to book your group jersey day outing, call 510-638-GO-A's, or you can visit athletics.com/jersey. 510-638-GO-A's. It's a nice pullover. Go with a fleece blanket and the mustache socks. And
That's right. So bottom of the third, Marisnick, Altuve, and Villar to face Pomeranz. Pomeranz had a 3-up, 3-down second inning with a couple of strikeouts. And a good pitch there to start Marisnick off with the strike. Last time we saw Marisnick, he was hot. Cooled off a little bit. Still 291 average, 15 RBIs, and plays a very good center field. In the hole, and Simeon has it. Jump throw to first, not in time. Once he does the right thing, comes off the bag. Not a whole lot Simeon could do there.
I was just going to say, we know this young man can run, Marisnick, and now that he's on first base, see him running down the line with the ball in the gap or in the hole, and Simeon reached, and really, you're right, nothing to do because Marisnick can fly, and it was that Sunday afternoon the game at the Coliseum. Marisnick hit a hanging curveball for base hit. And on the hit and run and a double steal, and very quickly after the Gaddis double, A's were trailing. So look out here. As with Altuve, these guys flip-flop. Altuve is hitting second for a while. Marisnick hitting first, but now Marisnick back down with speed at the bottom, and Altuve at the top with the same speed.
And of course, it's not really the way it is. It just seems like it, but I think Altuve bats every inning.
Yeah.
Or if there's a runner in scoring position, there's Altuve.
Well, it was this combination in that game that put on the hit and run, and A's did not get it out, which they should have, and the ball was hit to Brett Lawrie.
Altuve waves at that pitch. 1-1. 50 hits for Altuve, third in the American League. Simeon is fifth. So Prince Fielder having a nice year. Kipnis, after a slow start, he's been hot lately. Altuve at it again. Altuve this year against the A's is 12 for 27 with 2 home runs. Last year he had 29 hits against the A's for the season. But he's not just doing it against the Athletics. Marisnick, decent lead at first, and he runs, and the ball's rolled foul. It looked like that Marisnick got a good pitch to run on, and Altuve swung at it.
Well, they're reading Pomeranz pretty well, because even though that front foot went up and headed the plate, typically left-handers, when they're thrown to the plate, they'll look at first. When they're thrown to first, they'll look at home. Try to look at the runner to hold him there.
Simeon charges. He'll go to second to get the out there. Nicely done. So the lead run is taken off the bases. Base stealers 5 for 6. So that comes into play with Altuve standing there, and Altuve's already got a stolen base. So there must be something to it that guys get good reads on.
And you know that when we talked, I think Kansas City maybe, and maybe more base runners are looking at the left foot, the back foot of the pitcher, because what they have to do to that foot when they throw to first versus to the plate. And I was talking to one left-hander who said, that's why I tried to put my foot on top of the rubber, because when you put it to the side, you have to push off.
Yeah.
And then your toes kind of crunch up a little bit to make sure you do that. So you stand more in the middle, or you don't have to push off on the pitching slab. Then you're not at least disclosing what you're going to be doing.
So instead of looking at the front leg, look at the back leg, the leg that's attached to the rubber.
Because if he's throwing to first versus home, his foot will be different with what he does. See how that front toe, he had to get a little bit extra, and it kind of crunched up a little bit, so he pushed off the toe. Watch the left foot, the toe right there. He tried to lift it back a little bit to kind of go off the heel, but it looked like the front of the foot and the toe was pushing off. So I think when you see lefties get, or runners get good jumps off of lefties, they have to be looking at something other than the front leg. Because when that front foot and leg goes up and it's straight up, they can go to first.
Sure,
or,
they can go either way.
Either way, and that makes the big difference. So when they're looking, and if they're not looking at that leg, because Pomeranz, when Marizic ran, his foot came straight up, the leg did, so he could have thrown to first, but he'd already committed to the plate.
2-1 fastball, chased by Jonathan Villar. So the count 2-2, and Altuve, he could be deking everybody. He has not looked like he has intention to run this time, but that could change quickly. Bounced over the mound. Sogard has it, flips with the glove, and Simeon blocked it. So 2 on and 1 out.
Well, Sogard, a nice play. And it just looked like as Simeon went to catch the ball, maybe did not plan on that, and something happened to Simeon's hand too when he hit the ground. But he reached back. He was trying to look at the ball and look at the bag at the same time.
So it's going to go as an error. E6. So the struggles continue defensively for the Athletics. That is their 43rd error this year, by far the most in the majors.
But you know what? That brings a point right there, Kai. And I believed all along that when you make changes to a team, and we talked about, or I know I've mentioned the unfamiliarity, and I know there are teams, for example, when Sogard made that play, maybe it's a play that he doesn't make that often, and it happens, and it kind of surprised Simeon because it happened with the ball there, looking for the bag, and he missed it. Now, you play together for a while, and these guys will, and all of a sudden you go to cover the bag as Simeon would, and he expects that's the only play.
He knows he's going to do that.
He knows it. And that's where the unfamiliarity, I think, comes into play with this group of really an all-new infield. And, of course, Sogard is the only constant at this point, but everybody else is new. So getting to know what each other's going to do, and I think that's a perfect example.
And here's Springer. Well, it's interesting. The A's have allowed 29 unearned runs this year, which brings their total amount of runs allowed to 183. That's the third most runs allowed in the American League, even though their ERA is 8th in the league. So the unearned runs have just tacked that on, and all of a sudden you've allowed a whole bunch of runs this year. 29 unearned runs. So 2-0 the count to Springer.
Now, one thing I want to say, I don't want to say I'm making excuses, but it's something that really that you see teams that play together on a regular basis.
Especially middle infield.
Yeah, and you don't see those things happen. And I just think that, I mean, there are teams before movement of players and free agency where players move around a lot. And you have spring, you work on these things, but it's still, you get in the heat of the battle, things like that are going to happen.
Springer takes 2-0. It's a little bit outside, so 3-0. So of those 29 unearned runs, 6 of them have been tacked on. Drew Pomeranz is on the mound.
And 2 of those 6 against this Astros team. And that was in his last start.
Springer will let her go on 3-0. Be careful here. Runners go, but it's ball 4. So he's called out at third, but it doesn't matter. Springer trots to first, and the bases are loaded. So Vogt not happy with Jordan Baker.
Well, and we know catcher's not going to throw unless he believes it is a strike. And I guess on a play like that, it'd been nice if Altuve would have believed the third base umpire and started walking to the dugout. Foul called there, and he almost did. He almost took his foot off, and of course, at that point, could have tagged him again. But now the bases are loaded.
So one away, and here's Evan Gattis, who had a sacrifice fly in the first inning. So Altuve at third, VR at second, Springer at first. Tons of speed on the bases, and that one's fouled straight back.
But one of the things, too, about the A's making the errors, and granted they have made now an error at least one of 15 consecutive games, there's a time the pitcher has to say, okay, guys, it's on me. And, you know, you have the error, and granted it's not something you want to see, but then a 4-pitch walk to Springer, now the base is loaded, and you're facing a tough hitter in Gattis.
Breaking ball, Gattis takes it. Gattis, he'll hit the ball out of the ballpark anywhere, so the A's play him straight up in the outfield.
Hard to believe at one time in the early part of the season, this lumberjack struck out 8 consecutive times.
How'd that happen?
I have no idea, because he is so scary just standing at the plate, just no batting gloves, goes down in that crouch, got the full beard, and just say throw it, and you have to eventually.
On the ground, could be 2. Simeon will take it himself. His throw low. Muncy has it. Side retired. So the A's get out of it, and the Astros do not score. 4th inning coming up. 1-1 ball game.
.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcast, statcast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or your tablet. Beautiful shot outdoors here in downtown Houston as the roof is closed again. Yes, we hope it is closed all 3 games. We know this one would be closed. So, Kai, does that mean with the roof closed that if the ball tries to leave the yard, it hits glass?
Hits the glass, comes back.
Okay. And what's our conductor's name up there? Dynamite? Bobby Dynamite. Thank you, Dwayne. Bobby Dynamite. We hope Bobby Dynamite can stay perched in his caboose.
He's had a lot of time to celebrate this year with all the home runs the Astros hit. One and one to Max Muncy, who doubled and scored in the 2nd inning. Hit a ball to left center field. 8 for 15 in first pitch strikes for McCullers. He had a 35-pitch 2nd inning, but he came back with a 9-pitch 3rd inning.
Max Muncy first comes to the big leagues as a rookie He looks out and see 3 guys to the right side, so he at that time thought about pushing a bunt. There's only one to the left side of the infield.
Swinging a high fastball, fouls it up over our heads, and the count even at 2-2. Lowry to follow and then fold here in the top of the 4th inning of a 1-1 game. Breaking ball to Ty Waller, who makes a nice play.
Fan must have said something to Ty after the game of baseball. Ty put his finger up to his message. Well, it's okay. It's all right. Yeah.
Love you, Ty.
Yeah,
love you, buddy.
You're my man.
Tap his heart a little bit. Yeah.
I love you, Blue.
Very high left center. Tucker is under it, and Tucker's got it.
I'm not surprised to see that much. You know, something that he's going to learn. I mentioned and talked the other day about when does a player learn to pull versus going opposite field. I think with Max Muncy, he's going to start to learn at this level, even though he's a patient hitter and hits a lot of balls the opposite field, but he's going to get to the point 3-1, 3-2. He's going to say, they're going to give me a fastball. I'm going to turn on it and cheat a little bit, load up a little earlier, and all of a sudden, instead of a fly ball left field, it may be a ball driven to right field in the seats.
Lowry goes after the first pitch, skies one to center field. So 2 outs here in the 4th. 6 in a row retired by McCullers. And Sam Fuld will step in. It's the 3rd series of the year between these two teams. The A's came here early and took 2 out of 3, but then the Astros came to the Coliseum and swept the A's. So the A's are 2-4 against Houston so far. We won't be back here for a while either. It's middle of September, 18th, 19th, and 20th. Breaking ball, outside corner strike, 1-2. 21 in the first, 35 in the second for McCullers, trying to get a little bit of a grip on that pitch count. Have not seen a whole lot of pitches outside the fastball and the slider.
That's about it. So the wiggle from Castro would indicate a changeup, but it was a fastball, like a 2-seamer. So maybe the side's a little bit different. Sometimes they take the index finger and just twirl it for a 2-seam fastball sinker. And maybe the wiggle for this young man is throw it hard and let it sink. That's a fastball.
Fuld hits it hard. Carter dives. He's got it. Gets up. Underhands to McCullers. Side retired. Very nice play by Chris Carter. 7 in a row retired by McCullers. Bottom of the 4th coming up. 1-1 game between the A's and the Astros. California is brought to you by Prism. Now your team can collaborate at a whole new level with video walls from Prism. Learn how at prism.com. Downtown Houston, folks. That's where the ballpark is. And we stay in downtown Houston as well. 1-1 game between the Astros and the A's.
And the Warriors will be coming to the fine city of Houston, I understand, huh?
Yeah. Oh, boy. We're in enemy territory right now. The Toyota Center, just like a block from our hotel. Yeah. In fact, I can see it clearly from my room, and I was thinking today, that's the spot right there where the Warriors are going to beat the Rockets. Right there. I was looking right at it.
I was looking at the same spot, and I'm thinking the same thing.
Take them down.
I hope the Warriors do it.
Games 3 and 4 will be here in Houston.
We have laughter in the background, and people from Houston say it's not going to happen. Well, Kappas was leaving the other day before the Warriors won in Oakland at the arena. Saw Steph Curry, who still remember him coming up the booth, and what a nice young man, of course, the MVP, and had a chance to reintroduce myself to him. Congratulate him. I mean, what a phenomenal season for he and the Warriors, and congratulations, and hope they go the whole way. We won't mind giving up those Tuesday free parking if the Warriors are playing, because that's a dual event.
We will do that.
Absolutely. Hope they do well.
So tomorrow night is game 1. Warriors and Rockets. And it's at Oracle Arena. 1-2 to Preston Tucker. Big swing and a breaking ball. Rolls it foul. Chris Carter grabs it in the on-deck circle.
Good school for the young man, University of Florida. And you see a lot of the college players come out of the Warm Belt colleges.
Yep.
Warm Belt in the California, Arizona, Texas, Florida, down in these southern states, so that you get the warm weather, play a lot of baseball. Not to say the states in the Midwest and the upper Midwest don't produce good baseball players, but the weather a little bit more conducive to baseball in the southern states.
Nothing like practicing baseball in a gymnasium. That's great.
Yeah. I did that in high school. I can imagine in college.
A little bit outside, 3-2.
Well, they had the big airplane hangars that guys practice baseball.
Find one. Carter to follow, and then Marwin Gonzalez here in the bottom of the 4th. Muncy backs up to get a good hop and then flips to Pomeranz, and they win.
Bob Melvin's going to come out and take a look at that one, and he's going to have Adam Roden take a look at it quickly. And left-handed pitcher, of course, Pomeranz falls off to the third base side there, and then to recover, slight hesitation, and Muncy, the foot race, and it's called safe, and they're going to let it stand as Muncy thought about going, fed it. And then, I mean, that's a tie, but I guess not definitive enough to hope for an overturn. You hope for an out and have the Astros do it, but there was that slight hesitation with Drew Pomeranz, just slight enough. The guy falls off. He's got to immediately think, okay, ball to the right side, I have to get there, and it was just that half step that cost him.
Here's Carter, goes as a base hit. Carter swings and misses.
Up. Drew, watch his follow through there. Just enough of a hesitation in the running. And it's almost like he thought he had more time than he did.
Carter fouled out. Vogt caught it right in front of the Astros dugout. That was in the 2nd inning. So Chris Carter just a 161 average. He has really not gotten going yet. 6 home runs, 16 RBI. Now we know Carter's deal, lots of home runs, lots of strikeouts, but the strikeouts are even higher this year, Ray. He has 124 at-bats. He's got 55 strikeouts.
Yeah, it's that front foot and Pomeranz right foot on the side of the bag, so maybe just a bang-bang play, but that replay there showed that he did beat it.
So 1-2 to Carter.
Tucker showing his speed, though. I mean, that was smelling a base hit. Smelled enough to beat it out.
There's your strikeout leaders. Carter leading the American League. But that's you're talking close to 50% of his at bats ended in strikeouts.
You look at 4 of the Astros on that list. Actually, Brett Laurie of the A's on that list, but 3 of those are the Astros. Problem is, Carter is so strong, just like that one. Curveball in the dirt. He started, but his wrist and forearms are so strong that while he started to swing, able to hold up and gets another chance for that curveball in the dirt.
So full count. Tucker not running, and the pitch is inside, and he walked him. Walk number 3 for Pomeranz. So 3 walks, 2 strikeouts so far.
Well, you cannot continue to flirt with danger.
Not with these guys' home run ability in this ballpark. Well, here's Marwin Gonzalez. Gonzalez, switch hitter, playing shortstop in the absence of Jed Lowry, who's on the disabled list. Gonzalez struck out swinging in the second inning. Tucker and Carter are your runners. Corner infielders come in thinking Gonzalez may bunt. He's not bunting. He swings and misses.
Good block by Stephen Vogt on the curveball in the dirt. Swung at by Gonzalez, but the block was important because that's a good way to advance a couple of runners. Stephen Vogt able to catch the short hop.
This time Gonzalez shows bunt, pitch is low, so the count even at 1-1. Looking down at Gary Pettis, the third base coach for the Astros.
The Bay Area product, and formerly with the Texas Rangers, moving over to Houston, and with that we know it's a running club because they're going to be aggressive.
Bunted toward Vogt. Vogt picks it up. He'll throw to first, get the out there. Sacrifice is completed by Marwin Gonzalez, so second and third, 1 out.
I'm really surprised that he did not have him bunting from the first pitch. And maybe A.J. Hinch saw the swing on the curveball and said, I better make him sacrifice, and lays down a good one in front of the plate. Once Stephen Vogt handled it nicely, able to make just one play, especially Brett Laurie coming in. The ball is enough towards third base where he forced Laurie to come in, vacate his position.
So here's Castro, who struck out swinging in the second inning. First pitch good. Breaking ball for a strike. Castro was out of the lineup Saturday and Sunday. A.J. Hinch giving him a little breather.
And then he got hit on the foot, found the ball off his foot, a little bit sore. But Hank Conger, who's been catching Dallas Keuchel anyway. Keuchel, of course, is going to be pitching the final game of the series. Hank Conger, a good backup. Castro, the everyday catcher.
Another curveball. This time Castro swings and misses. So Pomeranz in the driver's seat at 0-2.
This is a dangerous location. Unfortunately, there was no contact because kind of a hanging curveball. Castro was not opening up, just trying to maybe guide the ball in left field. So if you throw that curveball again, throw it hard.
And that's a shot into the seats, foul.
And that probably was not a pitch for contact. More of a back-to-back curveballs and then a fastball just to show him. Castro has to be thinking he's eventually going to get another curveball.
Castro just a 192 hitter against left-handed pitching.
One of those signs was a fastball up. Another one was curveball. Looks like it's the fastball up.
Popped up. Vogt, Muncy. It's going to be Muncy who hustles into foul territory. Vogt. So Stephen Vogt looked around, and then he had to make sure Pomeranz was covering home.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Heads up by Stephen Vogt. He was trying to see if Muncy was going to get to it, and also see if Pomeranz was going to cover home. So he took care of the situation.
Well, and Muncy, of course, playing in anyway, and you're right. He's wanting to go after it and said, no, you get it because I'm going to stay here. And a lot of times a pitcher becomes a fan, but Stephen Vogt looking and
he's checking.
Yeah, he's checking.
And sure Pomeranz gets down there.
Exactly.
Here's Marisnik. Swing and a miss. So Pomeranz got out of a big jam in the third, trying to do it again here in the fourth.
Well, you saw the one sign that Stephen Vogt gave. It was a fastball, and he kind of used his palm of his hand with the fingers pointing up, indicating what the high fastball, and that's exactly where Pomeranz threw it. And that's why he got the pop up with Castro on a good fastball.
And there's a drive, full center field, coming in toward right center, and he's got it side retired. So Pomeranz gets out of the jam, keeps the Astros off the board in the fourth. 1-1 game as we go to the fifth. He's made some of the best catches this year by any outfielder in the big leagues. That one saved the ball game. Check out this one. This one, though, he got hurt on. And he actually, concussion, had to sit out 7 games. But, boy, he's made 6 or 7 terrific plays. George Springer, very good young outfielder. Very good young player. He's not going to catch that one, though.
It looked like the one that put him on the 7-day concussion list was he caught the ball and ran into the seam, which means there might be a post behind it. And that's not good.
There's a post there somewhere.
Exactly. And you just hope when you bang into the wall you don't hit it. But he might have come close in that last one. Of course, he did. And they do have the concussion list now, the 7-day or game disabled list. And I think when players go on that list, they hope it's just for 7. Some have lasted much longer. Some have never returned to the original positions because of that.
So 1-2 to Sogard. Joe Thatcher, the left-hander, starts to throw. McCullers has retired 7 in a row. He's got 3 walks and 3 strikeouts in his major league debut. And nasty pitch there. And Sogard becomes his 4th strikeout victim.
With a hard curveball in this one, Sogard could not lay off. Went to the 3-2 count his first at bat before he got the base hit. So just at bat number 2 for Sogi.
So now to the top of the order, and Coco Crisp. Coco with a ground out and a walk. Fastball right there for a strike. He's with 2 hits in the game. In fact, both teams have 2 hits.
Remember 2013, Coco Crisp in Houston, and that string of 4 consecutive games with at least 1 home run.
Hey, superhero night. Wasn't it superhero fireworks night the other night? Not here, but at the Coliseum. And that one is just foul. Coco taking an extra long look down that way. Maybe Fletcher said, nope, that's a foul ball.
I didn't know of a shoe manufacturer that was by Batman, but maybe superhero. Coco pulled it, and just any place over the bag is fair, but according to Andy Fletcher, it was foul. I think Coco would love to get back to that feeling of using the whole field. He hit the crossing boxes, pulled it down the right field line.
And a nasty pitch there. So interesting, Ray. We talked about the fastball and the breaking ball, but he struck out Sogard, and now Coco. Change it maybe?
Well,
the velocity is pretty high. It's 88, 89 miles an hour.
And it's just a hard sinker, maybe just taking something off to get more sinking action on it. But he'll top out 96 with a 4-seam fastball, which we saw in the first inning.
Well, if that's the case, that's pretty impressive because he's kind of showing a new pitch.
Yeah.
His 3rd time through the lineup.
And you have to wonder who Thatcher is getting loose for in this inning, because the pitch count, while it's over 90, you see the 92, now 93, but probably around 100, because the minor league level, you start approaching 100, and that's when you start thinking about pulling the pitcher, and that's why Thatcher is loosening up. I would say this organization is probably going to protect the pitchers as much, if not more, than anybody.
Well, it's interesting as you're saying that. I just looked to check out his pitch counts in his minor league outings, and the high was 91. After that, 83 a couple of times, so he's past that already.
So he's adrenaline man now.
2-1 pitch, and if Castro catches it, it may be a strike.
It should have been anyway.
He just kind of clanked it, but it looked like a pretty good pitch.
Right down the middle. You're right, Kipe, and it makes you wonder, even though the catcher doesn't catch it. Sometimes umpires saying, if you don't catch it, I don't call it. But that was a pretty good pitch, and almost like he was expecting the ball to go the other direction.
So now 3-2 to Marcus Semien, who has walked and grounded out. Reddick waits in the on-deck circle, hoping to get a chance to hit. There's a shot, fair, headed for the left field corner. And Semien will hustle into second. He'll make a big turn and stop there. Semien with his 9th double of the year. And A.J. Hinch is coming out.
And
he's got Thatcher, the lefty, ready for Reddick, and he's looking down there, but has not made the call yet.
Cap, I would think he would like to see the young man get out of this inning. And good swing by Semien, and the double down the line on a fastball. But I think he's going to leave him in, try to get through the 5th, and this be his last inning. No, he's not. I'm surprised. I thought maybe he'd try to let him get a win, or at least have the club come back and score a run to qualify for a win, but he's not going to complete 5.
So the family is in a standing ovation, and I think it's pretty clear the young man has a very bright future, Lance McCullers Jr. So the A's have a runner at second, 2 outs. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. So the Major League debut for Lance McCullers Jr. is over. 4 1/3 and 5 strikeouts. With just the 1 run, although the runner at second is his responsibility. 93 pitches for the 21-year-old right-hander.
But normally they say he can't lose it, but he could win it. In this case, he could lose it. He definitely can't win it.
He will not win.
And that runner at third, and this could be more of A.J. Hinch at the pitch count. Didn't want to overextend the young man. His first start.
So Thatcher to face Reddick. Shift is on for Reddick. First pitch is in for a strike.
Thatcher basically sinker slider. He got 2 and 4 seam fastball. A couple appearances against the A's, and when he faced the A's the first time, he came in to face Ike Davis, to face Stephen Vogt. He got Davis, but Stephen Vogt got him. One of 4 lefties that Stephen Vogt had gotten hits against this year, and big hits.
So 1-1 the count to Reddick. Reddick 5 for 27 against left-handers this year.
And look at the gap on the left side. Even with the lefty, they expect him to pull, but I don't know that that's even a thought process for Josh Reddick in this at bat. And that's all he can do is pull the outside pitch.
Fastball in, and it's popped into the seats behind the A's dugout. So now it's 1-2.
He's hopeful of getting this final out. His relief pitcher getting the final out.
Thatcher, quick look. 1-2 pitch is cued off the end of the bat right toward Butler in the on-deck circle.
Well, let's just hope that left-handers feel that when the lefty comes in, they don't open up as much. They want to try to keep as closed as possible. And for Josh Reddick, seeing sliders and sinkers from this lefty, dropping down, throwing from second baseman's position. Try to stay on it as much as possible.
Thatcher, a late sign before the season began. Signed to a minor league deal. A couple of lefties down in that bullpen for the Astros. Thatcher and Tony Sipp. Bullpen's been very, very good for Houston this year. In fact, it may be, of all the things they're doing well, or the things that have changed from last year, it's probably the bullpen, because the bullpen was not very good the last couple of years, but this year it's been excellent. Second best ERA in the American League at 2.07. Last year, 4.70. There's a shot foul. So that's 2.5 runs different on your ERA.
Well, to get a closer they can depend on, at least from the A's standpoint, facing Chad Qualls last year. A couple of former Athletics, Pat Neshek, and also, of course, Luke Gregerson, the closer now.
Chad Qualls right there. He gets settled into maybe a better role for him, the 7th inning. Thatcher's ready. He's trying to take the lead here in the 5th. Sweeping slider from Thatcher. Billy Butler is the on-deck hitter for the A's.
Well, Simi can get the big jump and go on contact. He's trying to do something with a couple of outs. 2 strikeouts by the callers to start this inning.
Missed again badly, and now it's 3-2. So Reddick steps back in. He's ready. Through 2 pitches, fouled to the screen. Reddick spoiled a good pitch.
I think the second sign is the one they're using. The second sign was a slider, and Thatcher shook him off, went back to the fastball in. It may be that Thatcher's concerned that Reddick will take the slider and hit it to left field, staying on it as well as he is so far. This is pitch number 10 and dead back.
Kept it away. Reddick chased it, slams his bat down, and the A's do not score. Bottom of the 5th coming up. It's a 1-1 game. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors for advancing to the Western Conference Finals. Remember, for complete Warriors Playoff Central, tune in to Comcast Sportsnet an hour before every game. You get post-game and also on Sportsnet Central. Coverage begins with Game 1 tomorrow at 5 p.m. It's Roz, Monty, Ratto, Papa, Saint, JB, Feldy, and Fareed with coverage that you expect from the authentic home of the Warriors Western Conference Finals. There's a Rocket fan, and I hate to disappoint those good
Clutch City, huh? That's what they're calling it, Clutch City. But they were down by 19 to the Clippers in Game 6.
Yeah, Clippers had it won. They were moving on, and they let it slip away. Pomeranz back to work against the top of the order, Jose Altuve. Altuve's been on base twice. Does not have a hit. He was hit by a pitch, and then he reached on a fielder's choice.
Well, back-to-back innings for Drew Pomeranz, flirting with danger. And you don't want to stay that way, especially unless you have a 4 or 5 run lead, but it's still just 1-1 now.
Right to Laurie, who scoops it up. 1 out. So you must be talking about the 3rd inning. Bases loaded, 1 out. Pomeranz got out of it. 4th inning, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, and he got out of it.
Thank you. You're right on top of it, partner.
Helps to keep score. I just learned that a couple years ago. A light schedule today around Major League Baseball. Just 7 games. That's it. Mentioned the Toronto victory over the Angels 10-6. That was a day game in Toronto. First of a 4-game series between those two teams. Best pitching matchup of the day is going on right now in Chicago. The Indians and the White Sox are tied 1-1 in the 8th inning. It's Kluber and Sale.
It's Corey Kluber coming off an 18 strikeout performance in 8 innings. I think of 24 outs, he got 18 strikeouts. You're keeping your infielders and outfielders bored, standing around a lot.
Didn't need to be out there. Mariners are off today. They'll be at Baltimore tomorrow. The Rangers are off today. They will be at the Red Sox tomorrow. So both the Mariners and the Rangers on the East Coast. And a 4-pitch walk to Jonathan Villa. So that's the 4th walk issued by Pomeranz. Their second manager fired. Mike Redmond fired in Miami after 2+ seasons. And
who's the new manager?
Who's the general manager? He's the general manager and the manager now, Dan Jennings. How about that? Gentleman who has been the GM for the Marlins for a couple of years. And the Marlins, who have been known to do some interesting things, named him the manager today.
That mean he named himself manager?
I don't know. I don't think so.
For Laurie, the owner, Kurt Young, going to visit with his left-handed pitcher because that's 5 in a row out of the strike zone. And actually, if you look at Altuve's at bat, it was 2-0. He swung at ball 3. So essentially, Drew Pomeranz has not thrown a strike in this inning, but he did get it out with Altuve, hard man to walk. Brett Laurie repairing his glove during this little visit by Kurt Young. Old reliable glove.
Well, here's Springer. So it'll be interesting to see how Dan Jennings does in the dugout.
Ted Turner, the owner of the Braves, tried it a few days, if not 1 or 2. That didn't work so well.
No. But Jennings, no professional coaching or managing experience. None.
And he admitted it.
So it'll be interesting.
His dad's coached for 50 years, so that maybe it's in the family.
And now it's 3-0 to Springer. So saw a note raise since 2002. That's a 14-year stretch. The Marlins have had 8 different managers. That's too many.
Right. That's right.
It's too many. You gotta have some continuity at some point.
And I think they said in Derek Jeter's 20 years he had 3 or something.
Yep.
And even more than that, you think of the Twins, only 3 managers since '86. Tom Kelly, Ron Gardenhire, now Paul Molitor in his first year. So really 86 through 2014, only 2 managers for the Twins.
Springer 3-0. And now it's 3-1.
7 consecutive out of the strike zone, yet Springer actually got a very good pitch to hit 3-0. Right down the middle, although he wanted to hit it through the glass and not just into the seats, but through the glass and out of the stadium.
And now it's 3-2.
And if he can throw the same pitch, same location, we'll strike him out, because that's the elevated fastball that Springer's had a tough time catching up to tonight.
So full count, 1 out. VR decent speed at first. See if he goes. Pomeranz will keep a close eye. Edward Mujica starts to throw. They're not going, and the pitch is inside. He walked it.
3 walks.
Yes, 3 times.
And you know that even the 3-1 was elevated nicely. The 3-2, he just a little bit too high, and he wouldn't offer it.
So here's Evan Gattis. So again, Pomeranz messing with trouble. 2 on, 1 out. 5 walks matches the season high. Remember, he walked 5 in Minnesota that day game.
And remember also, he's getting ready to make his 80th pitch in just the 5th inning, and just 1 out in the 5th inning.
Gattis, a half swing, but he's so strong he still hits at 250 feet. Gattis sack fly, and then he hit into a double play. So 0 for 1 tonight. So pitch number 81 coming. Slider down. So 1-1 the count. Left-handed hitter Preston Tucker is the on-deck hitter. Pomeranz has walked at least a batter in every inning except the second, and that was his only 3 up, 3 down inning. Dancing around almost like VR at Echols, thinking about maybe taking on.
2-strike high fastball. How does anybody get on top of that and hit it over the head of Sam Full? That would score 2 runs in the game in Oakland, in which the Astros trailed by a run in the 9th inning. And Evan Gattis, I mean, that was amazing to get on top of that fastball that really was head high. You just don't see it. Normally you throw at that pitch with 2 strikes, he hits it straight up the chute, but that's how strong he is. Now I'm going to check on Pomeranz, and this is
he's going to the bullpen. Mujica he's been throwing for a while, so he's ready. So Pomeranz is going to leave with the trainer. So he leaves with runners at first and second, 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th inning. So it'll be Mujica in and Pomeranz out. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
from today on May 25th. It'll be a special holiday matinee as the A's take on the Detroit Tigers at 1:05 p.m. That afternoon, 15,000 fans will get an A's road cap presented by Comerica Bank. Get your tickets now by calling 877-493-BALL or visit athletics.com/tickets. A matinee on Memorial Day. That's 1 week from today.
So 1-1 game as Pomeranz is gone after 4 1/3. Just a 5-walk stand out there. 82 pitches. So Mahika comes in trying to get out of a jam. The count is 2-1 to Evan Gattis with VR at second, Springer at first.
Well, you go from a lefty in Pomeranz to a righty Mahika and still trying to get the double play ground ball. So Mahika can do it.
It's a swing and a miss is what he gets. 2-2 the count.
But Gattis is going to play against anybody and everybody. It doesn't matter. It was the righty coming in, but just so happened Mahika was the righty loosening up anyway. That's numbers combined for the Red Sox and the Athletics. Of course, the A's acquired him a week ago today when the Red Sox came to Oakland. Actually, that was his first game, first appearance as a member of the Athletics against his former team.
2-2 pitch hit in the hole. Simeon backhands. He's going to go to third to get the out there. So Simeon really the only play he had, and it was the lead runner. So that's the second out.
And a smart play, heads up play, and Brett Lawrie letting him know ball in the hole, no chance for two, so might as well get the lead runner. And Brett Lawrie going to the bag, anticipating the throw from his shortstop. That's a heads up play. And again, you have a couple players on the left side playing new to the A's or with the A's this year, so good heads up play. And CBR thinking that maybe if the ball went to second base, he might have a chance. It's a pop-up upslide. Huh?
Yeah. So now the left-handed hitting Preston Tucker had an infield hit in the fourth. Grounded out in the first. Big swing and a miss by Tucker. Check swing and a pitch in the dirt. Tucker has hit a fair amount of home runs in the minor leagues. Last year between AA and AAA, she hit 24. So he does have some power.
Well, he swings hard enough to have the power if he makes contact. Sans batting gloves. So again, young player coming up, waiting for a big league contract with a glove manufacturer to start wearing batting gloves. Maybe he can go to McCullers with the Batman shoes and Fox.
Next time we see him, he'll have batting gloves. So 3+ years in the minor leagues for Tucker, now in the big leagues.
Well, the opportunities for young players, and I think you said it best, Cap, about this team, mixture of veteran players, but youngsters also. And it helps the young players when you can have the veterans around to bring them along. As managers, coaches will always say anytime a player can help another player, it's better that way. And veterans to the youngsters is the best way.
And he got him swinging. So Mahika does a nice job. And the Astros do not score. So they've stranded 7 in 5 innings. It's a 1-1 game as we go to the 6th. 1-1 game, A's and the Astros. The shifts, who's done it the most this year, Ray? We're not surprised that the Rays have had the most defensive shifts this year. In fact, they were the ones that sort of started the whole thing.
That's exactly right.
But the Astros are second. And that's defensive shifts this year. I saw some interesting notes, though, Ray.
How about the numbers over the years?
Well, yeah.
Like thousands.
I wrote them down somewhere. I'll find them for you.
Well, they are.
And I thought it was very interesting.
Well, as far as the numbers, I just saw briefly how they have increased over the years.
In 2011, there was a total of 2,357 shifts. 2011. Last year, the number of shifts was 13,296. So in a stretch of 4 years, it went from 2,300 to 13,000. Will Harris, the right-hander, starts to throw.
I guess shifts became in vogue, right? So
They sure did.
Let's do it.
Butler, a shot off the glove of VR, rolls into shallow left field.
How many times have guys olayed balls?
Once tonight.
We just saw an olay there, and that is a smart third baseman who says there's no way I'm going to get in front of this top spin fastball hit by, look at what should VR say at third base. Olay taken off to the side, and that's a smart player. Get in front, no way. The ball would go through him. It's hit so hard. And he could say, well, I only had time to go to a knee. But if you have time to go to the knee, you can take one step to the left and get in front of it. Pitcher's going to be upset.
You give him an error?
Are you kidding me? No.
That is a tough error. Man. Either way, the A's have a leadoff man on here in the sixth.
Well, the board doesn't have. Maybe they can't believe it either. Did you hear it?
They just announced it. Yeah.
Wow. That's a tough error. See, I was like, well, yeah, they just put it on the board. Put it on the board.
Wow. 1-0 to vote. Outside. So now 2-0 to vote. So last year, who do you think was the, there's your shift. Who do you think was the hitter in all of baseball who had the shift put against him the most?
Can I say David Ortiz?
David Ortiz was number one. A very well-educated guess by my partner. This is not just American League. This is all across. The second guy, Ryan Howard.
Oh, okay.
Number 3, Brandon Moss. And that's last year.
That's a good point. Brandon Moss, we saw a lot of that.
Those 3 guys, the top 3 as far as amount of shifts put on against them. Vote taken all the way. It's a strike. So really every time those guys coming up with the bases empty, there's going to be a shift.
Sure.
I guess the only way you wouldn't shift if there was runners in certain bases.
And here's a shift now, and we've seen with the runner at second, they employ the shift. The third baseman plays a little bit closer to the bag, but that's well, and it's kind of interesting when the new commissioner took over. You guys say, well, you know, maybe we can help the offense by eliminating the shift. You talk about an uproar. I mean, you're looking at 13,000 plus shifts. That was, what, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Mr. Manfred said, well, I mean, he was just kind of, if somebody asked him what would you do or change it, whatever, but I don't think you could ever take away that shift because there's so many statistics now that show where guys hit the baseball. So why wouldn't they play in certain positions? But as we always say, it's just as important for the pitcher to throw the ball so the hitter hits into the shift versus away from it.
Muncy swinging away, but takes a strike. Yeah, and really the shift is just strategy.
Exactly.
Muncy doubled and scored in the second. Hit a fly ball to left in the fourth. No, he did not show bunt on the first pitch from Thatcher. So an error and a walk, and the A's are in business here in the sixth.
Okay, just thinking about this non-bunt attempt by Max Muncy. He's a lefty. And these are the dilemmas for a manager. You have to know your lineup. And so you look at the lineup. If Muncy gets a sacrifice down, they intentionally walk Brett Lawrie in the on-deck circle, Sam Full, the lefty, in the on-deck circle behind him. So that has to be the thinking here. And some would say, well, let's just put the bunt down and force the Astros to make a decision what they're going to do, but he's opting to go with Muncy swinging.
Takes that fastball high.
Plus, on the other hand, Max Muncy has shown that he can handle lefties, has some very quality at bats against them, as he did in his start in Arlington against the Rangers that Friday night. Had a great at bat, helped the A's continue that inning, scoring 7 runs in the 8th inning.
Good take there. Slider that's low. So now the count 2-2.
I mean, you talk about a great take. This was it, because the slider, and it was low, and a good call by the tall umpire in Jordan Baker, but a great take by the rookie.
So Butler, Vogt are your runners. And another good take by Muncy. Would not chase the high pitch. Lawrie to follow. And the right-hander loose and ready out in the Astros bullpen. Will Harris. And Muncy on a foul tip stays alive. Yeah, swung at ball 4,
yep.
but
He's thinking the same thing. Too close to take. And that pitch was called a strike with Coco Crispa. And so maybe the young man just decided better not take any chances and give Jordan Baker the opportunity to ring him up. And always better to be aggressive and swing rather than take a strike 3-2. Granted, if it's pitch that you're fooled on, it's a different story.
inside, he walked it. So the bases are loaded with nobody out.
And once again, a great at bat by left-hander rookie and Max Muncy. Shows it again. And that's why this young man is very impressive in his approach, and it's showing, especially with a bat like that. Great job.
So when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts.
Transmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
So the A's in a great spot to take the lead here in the top of the 6th inning. Bases are loaded, nobody out. So Will Harris, who's having a terrific season for the Astros, 24 strikeouts in 18 innings, and he's allowed just 5 hits.
And just one appearance against the A's. One of those hits with Josh Reddick hitting. And there's the cut fastball, one of his specialties. 2-4 seam fastball with a cutter. But you see that right is a great shot to that center field shot of that last instant cut of the fastball, and Brett Lord did not offer it.
Fastball is high. So the league is 5 for 59 against Will Harris this year. Here's your runners: Butler, Vogt, and Muncy. High fastball, and Laurie swings through it. So 91 miles an hour. So not huge velocity, but just a little bit up.
And if he's patient, this is ball 3. And just trying to jump out of his shoes to crush a ball as they're playing way off the line of left field, as they typically do with the short fence and left through short wall.
Good swing there, fouled straight back. So now it's 2-2.
There's another cut fastball after the 2-0 high fastball that swung and missed.
Two pitch, here it is, and it's bounced to third but foul.
And amazing. 4 pitches, fastballs, cutters, first hook on 2-2, and Brett Lawrie all over it, able to react quickly enough, just did pull it foul.
So 2-2. We'll see that count again. Here it is. And there's a line drive, base hit right field. 1 run scores. Springer gets it in, hits the cutoff man. So Lawrie, a line drive to right field to give the A's the 2-1 lead.
Well, Cap, the one thing he did, he pulled a curveball foul, and they backed it up with another curve. Will Harris left this one up a little bit too much, and a great opposite field swing by Brett Lawrie. Similar to the great at bat he had against Natali Feliz in Arlington that Friday night. The A's scored the 7, and this is shot to right field. Springer, a very strong arm, so Mike Gallego held up Vogt. So they'll try to keep the line going.
So RBI number 15 for Lawrie. Still nobody out for Fold. Fastball first strike. Sam Foldenite walked in the 2nd. Then was robbed of a hit in the 4th. Chris Carter made a diving play to his right. Now 1-1 the count. Just missed up and away.
Sounds like about 120 miles an hour, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's a great catcher's mitt that Jason Castro is using. The sound, the acoustics, the pop make pitchers feel so good, doesn't it?
And then you look up and it says 91. And there's nothing wrong with 91.
No, but it just sounds like it's so much faster and harder. You don't want those thud. You know, you want some pop in it.
Missed again. Close pitch. 2-1. Now the fans don't like it, but it's not a strike. It's close, but it's out.
That's off the plate. You're right. And remember, these umpires are graded on their balls and strikes that they call. There is a mechanism of Quest Tech at one time. I don't know if they're still used out of service.
Harris is going to come home. They'll get the out there throw to first. Not in time. Fold hustling down the line. Beat the throw to first. So Vogt forced at the plate. And that's the first out.
Any place around Harris. And that's a tough play because Fold runs well, but it happened to be just back to the pitcher. And fortunately, Sam Fold was concerned about being doubled up on the 1-2-3 double play, and at least able to avoid the double play. And Greg Sogard will try to do it.
Sogard had an RBI single in the second inning, and then he struck out in the fifth. Sogard batting at .266. They've made a scoring change. Ray, the Butler ball and led off this inning, which originally was an error.
And I'm glad they changed, because that, I'd say that maybe the official scorer realized that if I go down there and try to field that ball, it's probably going to be a hit. It's hard hit. So Billy Butler, that makes it an earned run.
So 2 hits then in the inning and a couple of walks.
Got a high fastball that Sogard could not lay off, swung and fouled it back. Try to zone down against a good fastball pitcher. Zone down and just drop the head of the bat on instead of trying to go upstairs and catch up to the high fastball.
Not close. 2-1. So the A's trying to defeat the Astros bullpen that has been so good this year. Thatcher was kind of all over the place. That one's high, and now it's 3-1.
See Sogard after swung at one, probably a little upset with himself, so try to contain it. Also figured he's going to get a fastball here. It's just a matter of the location, and Harris is kind of throwing the pitch very upright. He's not following through, bending down to make the pitch down.
And the 3-1 pitch, that one in first strike, so he got it down around the knees that time.
Sogard taking all the way with a good fastball. It was down and did not swing at it.
Muncy, Laurie, Fold. All right, your runners. 3-2 pitch. Here it is. And it's bounced to Carter, who steps on first, throws home, and they got him. A double play. 3-2 on the double play, and there had to be a tag at the plate. And Castro indeed tagged out Muncy. Well, Bob Melvin may want to take a look at this. It was close. Muncy sliding to the backside of home plate, but they're going to wave it off. And he was out. So a pretty good play by the Astros. So the A's, when it's all said and done, get just the one, but they take the lead. So bottom of the 6th coming up. It's the A's 2 and the Astros 1. He's always here. Standing out in left center field, I do believe.
That's a
sweet jersey, too.
That's a great Mustang.
Mahika, who got out of the jam in the 5th, back out there for the 6th.
How about this play? Chris Carter stepped on the back, almost tripped when he put his left foot there. And then it was a tag play. And Castro knew once he saw Carter step on first base. And, you know, the top of the bases are slippery. And left foot by Carter hit it, slipped a little bit, kept his balance, and made a throw to the plate and got the double play. So fortunately, Brett Lawrie came through with a base hit. That was that scoop 3 bag right on top. And
Carter swings at a pitch that was way outside. 1-2 to count.
Hicka with a good split finger fastball. Also throws a cutter. And that wasn't even close to being a strike.
One-two pitch, here it is. And this time Carter takes a pitch that was much closer. Carter, Gonzalez, and Castro here in the bottom of the 6th for the Astros. Shift is on for Carter. Now full count. That's Josh Fields, hard throwing right-hander, gets up for the Astros. A's bullpen is quiet, so this is Mahika's inning. And he lost him.
After he swung at a pitch very badly out of the strike zone, and he never gave him a chance to swing at a back pitch. He kept throwing it to the outside part of the plate, and Carter never offered one after. He swung at a pitch so far out of the strike zone, couldn't come close to it.
So Marwin Gonzalez steps up. Gonzalez a strikeout and a sac bunt so far.
And rubbing across his chest with his right hand, wanted Gary Pettis to go through the signs again. He evidently didn't pick them up initially, and asking to see them again.
Lawrie a step in on the grass at 3rd. First pitch down and in. So 6 walks tonight by A's pitchers. None of them have scored, so they have been able to dodge that problem, but you can't do it the entire game. Gonzalez has a somewhat unique hitting style. He holds his hands extremely low. You see, but he does raise them up when the pitch is coming a little bit, but still they're pretty low.
Yeah. And the leg kick on top of it, so his timing mechanism is all planned with the bat, the movement of the bat, and the leg kick.
So he starts there, and then they'll come up. Probably begs the question, then why don't you just start there? But everybody likes to do it differently, and maybe that just feels like it gets his hands going a little bit.
And sometimes you start a little bit higher, then you wrap the bat a little bit too much. This way, you'll keep it in the hitting zone. At least he has at times, and he did in Oakland. Some shots he was hitting the opposite field turned out to be very important for this ball club. He was really not throwing strikes, and fortunately, hitters are swinging at them, but he never gave Carter a chance to swing at a bad pitch.
One-two pitch. Tapped to Mahika, who spins, fires to Simeon. Good throw there on to first, and that's a double play. 1-6-3. And the A's get the double play, and that's their second double play in the game.
Watch Simeon at second base, Cobb. I think this is an important. Watch his arm angle when he catches the ball. See, that's where he's thrown. Where he's getting more on top is when he's throwing a sinker on the ground. This time, he stays a little bit right there to where it's just a flip of the wrist and right there. Makes the strong throw, chest high, and he let it go. Which seems like when it gets a little bit more on top, he's throwing a nasty sinker like he wants to be a pitcher, or should be a pitcher with a sinker. But that time, he let it go, and that's the important thing for a young man who's had some issues throwing, but not that time. It's good to see. Yeah, I think the arm angle is good. Led him perfectly, did Mujica, and then that's just a nice, easy throw. A lot of confidence in that throw, and it paid off with an accurate one.
Nasty pitch there from Mujica, and Castro broke down about halfway through his swing. It's 0-2. Castro 1 for 14 against the Athletics so far this year. And 3 nasty pitches from Mujica, and he strikes out Castro. So good inning for Edward Mujica. And we're on to the 7th inning from Houston. 2-1 the A's lead.
An interesting game so far. Lance McCullers Jr. making his major league debut. And in this game, a run scored right here. Without a hit in the first inning, Evan Gattis with a shallow fly ball scoring Altuve, who was hit by a pitch, and Eric Sogard got a reprieve on a 2-2 fastball that was called a ball, scoring Muncy. And then with the bases loaded, nobody out, a base hit to right field by Brett Lawrie. A's had the bases loaded, but unfortunately that's the only run they could get in the inning in which they had the bases loaded, nobody out, and a 1-2 out and a 3-2 double play, and that's how you end a promising inning. Find out what's possible with AT&T. Call 1-800-PICK-AT&T, mobilizing your world.
And when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Tune-Up, your oil change, tune-up, and brake experts. New pitcher out of the Astros bullpen. It's Josh Fields, hard-throwing right-hander. Spent a little time on the disabled list in April, but back, and another reliever.
Yeah,
having a good season. Look at those numbers. 13 strikeouts in 8 innings. A couple of wins for Fields. Yeah. High strike called, and it's 0-2 to Coco Crisp. For 2 with the walk for Coco Crisp, trying to get aboard. And foul tip hung on, and so it goes for Coco Crisp. Strikeout number 7 by Astros pitchers tonight.
Elevated. Coco did hold up his swing, but according to Jordan Baker, ticked the bat just enough, and of course thrown that hard and just barely ticking it. It's going to be caught.
So 1 away. Here's Semien. Walk, ground out, and a double for Marcus Semien. He bunts it. Well foul up over the screen into the seats. Semien now has 49 hits in 40 games. Pulls the bat back, and it's called a strike. 0-2. He also has a whole 6-game hitting streak going. Fields, we saw Fields a fair amount last year. He's a hard thrower, and he likes to use that fastball. Had a right groin strain that happened in spring training. That's why he missed some time early part of the season, and he's got back-to-back strikeouts here in the 7th.
Just elevated his fastball, and pretty good one from the right-hander. I kept you right about last year for Fields. He only had one batting outing against the Athletics, and
seemed like he pitched a lot against
he
them.
did. I got him for 7 times, and at the one bat outing early April or late April when he gave up, faced 5 batters, gave up 5 runs. But other than that, and that was the bullpen last year. But it is a much better and different pen for A.J. Hinch this year.
A's were 11-8 against the Astros last year. That one hit high in the air, right field, but playable. Springer's there into right center. He's got it, side retired. So Fields with a 3-up, 3-down inning. 7th inning stretch from Minute Maid, 2-1 A's.
California is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Xfinity, home of the most live sports.
Oakland A's take on the New York Yankees in a 4-game series from Thursday, May the 28th through Sunday, May the 31st. Great seats are still available, but don't wait. Get your tickets now at athletics.com/tickets or by calling 877-493-BALL.
Love that homestand, Ray. Detroit for 3, New York for 4. That's next week.
It's coming up starts on Memorial Day. And I know some schedules say a 4:05 start. It's a 1:05.
105 at the Coliseum.
At the Coliseum Memorial Day. I think one of the earlier schedules had 405.
I saw one too.
Right, but it is a 105 matinee. That's what they're calling it. And the cap giveaway, the road cap giveaway on Memorial Day. It's Evan Scribner coming on to pitch for the Athletics. And the 7th inning has been the inning that the A's, if they could skip, in the past they would like to skip it. But this is a game that has to be played in all innings. And Evan Scribner, after Mujica did a great job in an inning and 2/3.
Wait, so you're telling me we have to play the 7th? You're such a traditionalist, Ray.
You can't skip it, unfortunately, but let's just assume that Evan Scribner is going to assume this is skipped and just get right through it.
He'll face Marisnick, Altuve, and Villar. 9-1-2 for the Astros. A's cling to a 2-1 lead. Good fastball there. Swing and a miss by Marisnick. Marisnick is singled and lined to center. Fernando Abad gets up. And another swing and a miss.
Well, he's got a good fastball. Scribner does. The cutter, the curveball. And this should be the cutter away. Have it break sharply and swing through it. Just barely off the other bat. Stephen Vogt using the 3. Usually it's a slider side, but since Scribner throws the cutter, not the slider, 3 then would be his cut fastball.
So 1-2. And a good fastball, a little in, and that's a strikeout of Marisnick for out number 1. So that'll bring up Jose Altuve, who's 0 for 2. He's been on base a couple times. But he does not have a hit. That's his hitting streak against the Athletics. 27 consecutive games he has got a hit against the A's, so that's on the line right now. Make it 29, excuse me. So 29, trying to make it 30.
Luke Appling hit a home run at RFK Stadium off of Warren Spahn in the Cracker Jack Old Timers game when RFK Stadium was still being used as a football stadium. The fence is about 270 feet to left field. But Spahny, that high leg kick, what a gentleman he was. I mean, those are some great players. Great people.
You don't think they need the pace of play rules for those guys?
Oh.
1-1 to Altuve. Good pitch right on the outside corner. 1-2.
That's the cut fastball that Scribner developed this spring, and it's going to go to watch this right at the end of it, right there. Cuts right to the outside corner. If Altuve had swung, it would have been hit off the end of the bat. Instead, he gets the call. Strike 2.
Taps this one to Simeon, who charges, throws on the run just in time to get Altuve.
See that arm angle again, just like he did when they threw the ball to second. And that's a good throw, good arm angle for Marcus Simeon, especially the fast runner. Watch how he charges the ball. And again, watch the arm right there, and he just flips it. And when he takes his time, he's over the top. But at the double play turn and this play, he has a very good arm angle, gets rid of it, gets a lot on it, and he gets a lot on his throw. Remember, we saw Jed Lowry last year, and a couple years, he had to make every play on the move. That time, Simeon did it out of necessity, and with a strong arm, able to get the fast Altuve.
And that's the way Lowry, I mean, he did it when he was in Boston.
Exactly.
When he first came up. He always just, that's the way he plays it. He likes to throw on the run.
Surprisingly, when we saw him earlier in the season, he was not doing it as much as he did the last couple of years with the A's. But some guys just feel more comfortable that way to be able to catch and throw. But Simeon able to stay back. He has the arm strength to handle the long throw. And I think tonight, watching him, even though he didn't handle the glove flip by Sogard, still his throwing has been very, very good.
2-1 to Jonathan Villar, who has a sacrifice, reached on an air, and walked. Chases that pitch And it's 2-2. Jake Buchanan, another right-hander, gets up. 2-2 pitch right there outside corner. Everybody knew it. So terrific inning for Scribner. No seventh inning problems tonight. We're going to the eighth. It's 2-1. The A's lead.
Thursday, May the 28th, against the New York Yankees. 15,000 fans will receive the one-of-a-kind Stephen Vogt referee bobblehead driven by Chevrolet, which features audio of his favorite referee calls and the famous fan chant. If you believe in Stephen Vogt, get your tickets now by calling 877-493-BALL or visiting athletics.com/tickets. That's a great-looking bobblehead. I bet every place we go, people are going to say, "Can you get me one of those Stephen Vogt bobbleheads?"
And you know what? We're going to say no, because I'm keeping it for myself.
That's right.
Votto hits second in this inning. New pitcher is Jake Buchanan. Buchanan pitched him in the big leagues last year for the Astros. Just called up this year, so his first stint in the big leagues this year. And Butler greets him with a drive headed for the right field corner. So Butler rounds first, digging for second, and he'll make it just ahead of the tag. So Butler's 2 for 4.
I just wonder if Bob Melvin wanted to use a pinch hitter, or pinch runner, that is, for Billy Butler, but what a great swing. Buchanan not overpowering, just about a 90-91-mile-an-hour fastball, 2-seam, curveball, slider, changeup. And Bob Melvin going to stick with Butler in the lineup at second base, and he should like to keep his bat in the lineup. It's only a one-run game, and the A's are able to expand on it. Might make a difference, but right now he stays, and Stephen Vogt will try to get him in, or at least get him over.
Vogt walked in the 6th inning, so he's 0 for 2. VR, the third baseman, sneaks in. Sinker for a strike to Stephen Vogt. Muncy to follow.
It's got to be so tempting. Stephen Vogt, of course, hits the ball on the right side. He's going to advance the runner. Tries to drive him in, but whole left side of the infield is open, except the third baseman, who has to play near the bag at third. Tempting is the part about bunting, and bunting ball towards shortstop and getting the base hit.
Well, and plus, you're standing in there saying, hey, I got the best batting average in the American League with runners in scoring position. should I worry about getting him over, or should I just try to knock him in? So that, I mean, that's a little bit of a dilemma for a hitter, but yeah, you're right.
That's both. Hit it down the right field line and do both. And of course, the right field line, amazingly, we have seen Springer and really the left fielder. You talk about bunching. And Stephen Vogt, last thing he needs to do is protecting the right foot. So what does he do? He turns his foot over, rolls it, and hits it on the instep. But Springer in right field is so far off the line in right field. And bunching towards the gap in right center. Look at Springer and the center fielder. Springer in right field. So the whole right field area, Stephen Vogt was able to get out in front of one of the off-speed pitches of this right-hander, hook it down in the corner, and could run forever.
Inside. I mean, bunching the gap in left field makes a lot of sense in this ballpark, because that left field wall is so short. You really kind of want to cut off the deep part of left center. And almost every left fielder here plays quite a bit over into left center.
But with Springer playing where he is in right center, he's definitely depending on Buchanan to pitch Vogt accordingly and not allow him to pull the ball down in the corner. I mean, that's an extreme. We saw Garcia in Oakland with the White Sox playing every hitter like he was left-handed pull hitter way over towards the line, robbing Coco a couple of times on balls that could have been hits.
Outside, so now it's 2-2. Grounded to third, scooped up by VR. Fires just in time to get Vogt. So Buchanan kept it away from Vogt, had a little sinking action on that one, and Stephen Vogt could not get him over or get him in.
And I think that time there, it's a matter of Butler being at third. He's not going to steal third, but because of him being at second, Garrett played closer to the bag at third and is able to take extra bases away from Stephen Vogt.
So 1 out now, and Butler still at second, and here's Max Muncy. Muncy takes a strike. That game in Chicago is over. The White Sox beat the Indians 2-1 in 10 innings. They got a walk-off single from Carlos Sanchez, the second baseman who we saw over the weekend. So the White Sox have won 6 straight, and they are over 500. So that was that terrific pitching matchup of Kluber and Sale. Neither got a decision. Kluber went 12 innings, or went 9 innings with 12 strikeouts, excuse me, and he got a no decision. So 30 strikeouts in his last 2 starts for Kluber, the reigning Cy Young winner. So he's starting to figure it all out. 2-1 now to Muncy. I was impressed with the White Sox. They should be scoring more runs. That's a good lineup.
Well, they got over 500, or to 500 yesterday after sweeping the Athletics, and then over by a game today. So probably feeling a lot better about themselves than they were in the early part of April.
2-1 pitch, dropped in for a strike. Curveball, catch the outside corner.
You know, Muncy knows the strike zone so well that he might question, but he's not going to argue, because he knows his status at the major league level, and he does not want to push it, which is pretty smart.
Rides off the plate outside.
This is a 25th pitch that this young man has seen tonight.
Taps it into the ship. That's Gonzalez, the shortstop, playing on the right side of the diamond. He charges it, throws out Muncy. 2 outs. And Butler now at third. So it's up to Laurie to get the A's an insurance run here in the top of the 8th.
Well, they drove in the go-ahead run. Maybe he can add the insurance run as well.
Laurie strikeout, ground out, and then that RBI single that Ray just mentioned. First pitch is inside. So Laurie now with 15 RBIs on the year. Well, he's got one of his 2 home runs is against the Astros.
That was right here, the one he hit almost the gas tank in left center.
It's his first one with the A's.
Almost got to pump his own gas.
So now Laurie behind in the count 1-2. Check a Butler at third. He led off this inning with a double. And that one spins way inside. Sometimes those breaking balls just kind of squirt out of the hand of the pitcher.
Back up, almost backed up, hitting. Brett Laurie did not though.
Two pitch. Right side, Altuve is there, throws quickly, and they got him. Laurie making it close, but not quite enough. Butler is stranded, so the A's do not score. Bottom of the 8th coming up. 2-1 Athletics. By your local Toyota dealers. 2-6-1 for the Athletics, 1-2-0 for the Astros. Drew Pomeranz 4 1/3. He left with a little shoulder tightness, we are told. Billy Butler's got a couple hits. Lance McCullers in his major league debut, 5 strikeouts in 4 2/3 innings. Just a couple of hits for the Astros. And the Astros have stranded 7 through 7 innings. They had some opportunities early in this game. Like they had Pomeranz dancing around traffic, but Pomeranz was able to get out of it. So it's the bottom of the 8th here at Minute Maid Park. And Scribner, after his 3 up, 3 down 7th inning, back out there. He struck out a couple in the 7th. So he looked sharp, and Bob Melvin said, why not? Send him back out there for the 8th. Springer, Gaddis, and Tucker are the 3 scheduled hitters. Good one on the inside corner, 1-2.
Just a good four-seam fastball right over the top, and the always aggressive George Springer not offering at the last 2. Both of them very good quality strikes. And for Scribner, who has a great curveball, throw it hard, especially if you throw it with 2 strikes or the hard cutter.
Springer got one to hit. I would not throw that one again there.
That was a cutter that really didn't break down and away like he wanted, stayed middle of the plate. And a dangerous location for a pitcher, excellent for a hitter, and oh, that was, thank you, just a little late on it, fortunately.
So 2-2 to Springer, who has walked 3 times tonight.
Hard to believe with his swings that he could walk that many times in a week, much less in a game.
And that's high. So now a full count. Springer with 6 home runs. Remember, the Astros have 57 home runs as a team, and that is the most in the major leagues. 3 more than the Dodgers, and 9 more than the Seattle Mariners. 3-2 pitches, belted to center. Folds going back. He's to the hill, and he caught it. He caught it.
Wow. Oh, my. Wow, what a catch by George, or Sam Fuld on George Springer. Fortunately, the incline kind of to the side, not as much, and Sam Fuld used the wall to brace himself after he caught the ball. And if you're going by the sound of the ball on the bat, it's a tie game. But Sam Fuld, with all this room at Towels Hill, ran up. And Scribner said, thank you.
So what a play.
Type any other park but here.
Yep. Well, you figure center field is 436. That had to be at least 420 feet.
Exactly.
We felt the same way, Evan. So 1 out. Gaddis to Laurie, who scoops it up. Throws in time, 2 outs.
Well, Sam Fuld so calm in center field, going back of the ball so well, and that incline is very difficult for visiting players. Home team, the Astros have to play it well, and Sam just put his glove out, cradled it in the glove as he banged up against the soft wall, and everybody liked it, knowing that that's not a very easy play going up that incline.
And you know, he really stayed calm going back,
yes,
because you get to that incline, even if it is kind of a side incline where he went, but it's still very difficult. But he was really pretty much under control when he got back there.
You know, if you think about it, Cap, at the Coliseum with the bullpen mounds in play, and you see the third and first baseman, they do a face plant. Well, you can imagine a visiting player running up the incline in the middle. All of a sudden, their feet just give out from under them, and they'll hit softly with the grass, but still, it's a difficult center field to play here. But Sam Fuld played it remarkably well, and yeah, that's not easy. And I think George Springer will give his vote to the Astros to change Towels Hill, to eliminate it. You got the flagpole, it's so far, it's in play.
Scribner grabs it, throws to first, and that's 6 consecutive hitters retired by Evan Scribner in the 7th and 8th. But this inning belongs to Sam Fuld. Sensational play in center field. Super Sam. It's the top of the 9th inning. A's trying to break a 4-game losing streak. Astros trying to extend a 5-game winning streak. A's just trying to have a nice clean win.
Yeah, wouldn't that be great? Got through the 7th and the 8th, and figured Tyler Clipper would try to do the same in the 9th.
Sam Fuld, who made that sensational play, grounds out. Make sure you join us tomorrow. It'll be game 2 of this 3-game series here in Houston. Sonny Gray against Roberto Hernandez, the veteran right-hander. Coverage begins at 4:30 with A's pregame live. And then complete A's coverage every night on Sportsnet Central, and check out CSNCalifornia.com. The home of A's baseball is Comcast Sportsnet. So Sonny Gray having a terrific season, opposed by Roberto Hernandez. So join us tomorrow right back here in Houston. A day game on Wednesday, and on to St. Petersburg. Outside corner strike. It's 0-2 to Sogard. Tyler Clippard getting ready. Two. Sogard is 1 for 3. And off-speed pitch, swings and misses. So Sogard didn't strike out very much. He struck out a couple of times tonight.
That's a good slow curveball. Took a lot off the pitch, and I think so. You can't believe he missed it. Maybe foul tipped it into the glove, but I think it's just, yep. So Jordan Baker saying that he foul tipped it. Bob Melvin checking the lineup. Tyler Clippard warming. I think your description of a clean game sounds perfect.
Just a nice clean game. In the bottom of the 9th, it'll be Carter Gonzalez, who's a switch hitter, and Jason Castro. One to Coco, who is 0 for 3. He walked in the 2nd. He's also struck out a couple of times. Sinker taken by Coco. So Evan Scribner, he's one of the heroes of the game so far with his terrific 2 innings. Perfect 2 innings. Shot dug out on the short hop. Carter steps on the bag. So Coco hit it hard, cannot get a hit. So we're going to the bottom of the 9th, folks. Clippard's coming in. Bullpen started with Mahika an inning and 2/3, couple of strikeouts, no hits, and then Evan Scribner 2 shutout innings, didn't give up any hits, and struck out a couple and got a huge play from Sam Fuld. Terrific. So 3 2/3 innings of shutout baseball so far from the bullpen, and now Clippard comes in. Scribner, very nice job tonight.
So in football, Dwight Clark had the catch. In baseball, we can say Sam Fuld.
Super Sam with the catch.
With the catch tonight.
It'd be interesting to hear what Evan Scribner thought about that catch. As he put his hands on top of his head. It was the oh my gosh look.
That's right. Well, the oh my gosh that it didn't go out. That it was hit to the right part. But Sam Fuld made it look relatively easy.
So here's Chris Carter against Tyler Clippard. Clippard looking for his 4th save. First pitch to Chris Carter is a bit high.
Well, like I said, Garcia hit the home run off Clippard yesterday, right center. So his power, of course, Chris Carter has similar type power. So for Clippard, the changeup is good. The curveball, the fastball, there is a changeup. That's the pitch. And if you're a hitter and you guess incorrectly, that's what you end up doing on a changeup. And it's so good from Clippard.
Carter tonight has walked a couple of times. And that one is blasted well foul, headed for the upper deck, and it's into the upper deck. It's a long ways out there, but it was well foul.
And I don't know that Carter was looking changeup. It's just that it was left up, and he got way out in front and hit that far up there to that fan all by his lonesome, leaning over second row and getting the ball.
1-2 pitch, changeup, struck him out. 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, a good one from Clippard. And you get the big guy out in front as he swung and missed that one, and that was a very good pitch.
So 1 out. Here's a pinch hitter, Colby Rasmus. He's hitting for Gonzalez. Castro is the on-deck hitter. Rasmus, 7 home runs. He's got lots of power. And he drives one to right, but it's in the ballpark. Reddick's there, and he's got it 2 outs.
That sounded like a little bit off the end of the bat, and just enough. As Colby Rasmus swung at the first pitch, guessed correctly, and maybe just enough towards the end to keep it in the park. And you're right, he's got some home run power, but that one was off the end of the bat.
So Castro, he steps in. Castro is 0 for 3 tonight. A couple of strikeouts and a foul out. He has 4 home runs on the year. And Clippard pumps their strike in there with a fastball.
Like the way Stephen Vogt quickly jumped up after Clippard stepped off the mound. 1-1 games. There's a difference in where the Astros are and where the A's are right now.
And a changeup, and that was a good one. And now it's 0-2.
And if you go by the swing of a hitter, you throw him another. Goes Castro, fastball, swing, changeup. And that is the difference in what he looked for and what he got. Clippard did tell us he watches the hitters, watches their swings, and if you watch that one, And I don't think it was a setup.
And that one in the dirt, 1-2.
Still good location.
And he's trying to start out this road trip on a winning note. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And the A's bullpen is the story tonight.
Boy, isn't it?
As they take game 1 of this series and they win a 1-run game. So it took 3 hours and 15 minutes in front of 21,724. The final score tonight from Minute Maid Park, the Oakland A's 2 and the Houston Astros 1. You've been watching Oakland A's baseball on Comcast Sportsnet California.